The art world is a hot mess. There are too many galleries, so many artists, and I don't know where to start, but I would really like to buy my first artwork. If that's what you're thinking, you're in the right place. I'm Linda, and I've been working in art galleries for a few years in both Italy and Canada, and I'm happy to share my experience with you. In this video, I'm gonna talk about how to approach the market from a perspective of someone who just new to this world and will like to buy their first artwork. Andiamo! First macro area that I would like to talk about is research. You don't need to be a professor or have a master in art to purchase an artwork. However, you should have a basic knowledge about the mediums that are out there. Let's start with paintings, which I think is the main medium and most versatile that it's out there. Why it's versatile? It's versatile because it can come in different sizes, and there are so many artists that are painters nowadays, so that leads to multiple price points. So I think it could be a good alternative for someone who's a new collector. The next one is fine prints, which usually comes into limited edition just because it's a physical process. So there is some press from a surface to another surface, so it's quite a technical process to do a fine print, so it can be a little more pricey. However, I think to have a nice little print, it can be something quite exquisite to have. So even for a gift, I think it could be a very great idea. The next one is photography, which is not the same of fine prints. Let's say it together. Fine prints and photography are not the same thing, because fine prints require a physical process of pressing the image from a surface to another. The photography is a digital element, is a digital product coming from a camera that is used by the photographer. However, both fine prints and photography can come in editions. And in photography, as for the prints, smaller is the edition, more pricey the artwork is. Contrary to common belief, photography is not actually the cheapest medium that you can find. There are multiple reasons for it, because of course there is not only the price of the artwork, so the photograph, there is also the price for the framer. There is also the price for the glazing, which can be glass, can be plexiglass, can be non-reflectable or so-called art glass. All these things add up, and actually photography can be as expensive as a painting, or even more sometimes. The last one is sculpture, which I think, to no surprise, is the most expensive in my opinion. And there are multiple reasons for it. The material can be very expensive. It could be marble, it can be wood, it can be iron or steel or any metal that is out there. It can be really, and nowadays I feel like the range of material can be really wide. And of course there is the time and the technical skills that an artist has to have to create a sculpture. And also there is the physical transportation of the sculpture, which will be, an added fee, because it's a service to you when you purchase a sculpture, and you will have to keep the sculpture clean, or how to maintain the sculpture, and the list goes on and on. So I think sculpture again is probably the most expensive medium that is out there. The last thing that I will add in the area of research is, if you want to purchase an artwork and if you have time, make the effort into looking for prices of the artist. So for let's say I want to buy, as always, let's go for the king. Let's say I want to buy a Picasso. If I want to buy a Picasso from an auction house, I will probably go and visit all the auction houses. I will probably visit Sotheby's, Christie's, and all the other Phillips, and on. And probably those, because Picasso is from a second art market. So I will do that. So I will go on Sotheby's or Christie's website, do my own login profile, and then I will check how much was Picasso sold for lately. Let's say in 2020, the biggest, the most expensive painting by Picasso was sold for 20 million. The year later was, 36. So there you have kind of a range of what you can expect to pay for a Picasso painting. Now, if you can pay for a Picasso painting, I don't think you should be here, to be honest, but if you also want to meet for a coffee, I'm also available. Next macro area that I would like to talk about is budget. Budget is very important, and I think you should just be honest with yourself, look into your soul and your pocket, and be like, this is how much I'm open to spend for my first investment in art. And you have to stick with it, because it's so easy in the art market to be distracted by all the beautiful and shiny artwork that calls you. You have to stick to your budget because it's hard otherwise. And don't forget that beside the price of the artwork, sometimes there are additional fees. Let's say that I'm in Canada and I want to buy an artwork from an artist that it's settled in Italy. In order to have the painting, I have to, of course, communicate with the art gallery or auction house or whatever. And then when I decide to purchase the artwork, there will be, of course, shipping. There will be, of course, additional fees that I will have to pay. Like, for example, shipping, of course, from the gallery to my house. And then let's say that I'm not capable to hang this painting, I will have to call an art dealer based in Vancouver to help me hang the artwork in my own house. And if I want to restore it at some point, I'll have to call a restorer. So there are different fees that can apply to you. Depends on the case. But the most important thing is, in the art market, never take anything for granted. Always make questions, and don't be shy to make questions. A lot of friends of mine come to me and they're always like, oh, I'm so shy, I don't really want to walk into that art gallery because I feel like I don't belong there, and I think people are looking bad at me, and I feel like I don't want to make questions and stuff like that. Let's destroy this idea that you can make questions in an art gallery. I work in an art gallery and I'm happy to answer any question a client or a visitor wants to make. And you're the same. You can just walk in an art gallery and just make questions. I'm telling you, go there, go in that gallery and make those questions. And then thank me later. Actually, comment here below and say, I went in that gallery and it was amazing. Thank you. Last but not least, key documents to have when you purchase an artwork. It might be a little silly to say, but of course, the first document to have is the invoice. The invoice that has to show all the information. It has to be very detailed. It has to show the name of the artist, the name of the artwork that you're purchasing, the medium, the year. Year, very important. It can be very important. If they're shipping it to you, all the informations have to be there, because it's the invoice, and also for insurance reasons, you can show the invoice of the artwork as well. Second, and I think probably the most important along with the invoice, is the certificate of authenticity. Of course, it's very important because it shows that your artwork is original. So in case you want to sell your artwork afterwards, you can also give the certificate of authenticity. Basically, it's kind of the passport of the artwork. So wherever the artwork goes, the certificate of authenticity has to follow. Other thing, it depends on the case, but if you're buying from a secondary market, you can request a provenance. And actually, I'm sure that if you're buying from an auction house, they will give you the provenance anyway. If you're buying from an art gallery, I will require a provenance. Provenance is a French word that means where the artwork is coming from. So what's the history of the artwork? Who was the collector that owned the artwork before me? And all this information, you will have them in the provenance, and they are important because in case you want to sell your artwork afterwards, you can say, my artwork before me was owned by this famous collector, this famous foundation, and so all these things can add value to your artwork. Last but not very least is the condition report, which is very essential to have in order to buy an artwork, because you want to buy an artwork that is in good condition, of course. So we have covered research, we have covered budget, and we have covered key documents to have when you're going to purchase your first artwork. But the fun thing is, this is just the beginning. If you have already bought your first artwork, Drop in the comments what it is, I'm so curious to know. And if you haven't yet, let me know what is the medium that you would like to learn more about. And if you're still here with me, you're officially part of my little art circle. Grazie mille for watching it until the end, and stick around because the art world has so many secrets to unlock. Alla prossima!